What are you doing?
Something glorious.
Oh my.
How thick it is.
That's beautiful.
Did you see the cream line on these jars?
Yeah, they're like a third of the jar. That's a lot of cream right there. And times 3 gallons. Granddad loved cream. Hey? He'd put cream on the berries, like strawberries in cream and raspberries in cream. So my grandparents, they homesteaded in Canada in the 50s. And they survived with how many cows?
Was it 5?
I thought it was 12.
Oh.
Anyways, let's just say 10. It was like roughly 10 cows. And my grandma milked every cow by hand. And they sold cream. Back in the 50s, you could support a family. They had two little kids.
Yeah.
And they sold the cream from 10 cows minus whatever they had. And that was it. They homesteaded. They made fields and they logged and milled lumber, but this was their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Was the cream. And now you're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing
And it turns out this is not that hard. You don't actually have to like sit there with that wooden paddle all day long to make butter anymore.
That's the way it was done back in the day.
Yeah, and now Rose is gonna show us how to make butter in 1 minute. Okay, tell me how you do it, Rose.
So the girls bring me the milk.
So somehow you get milk.
Yeah, and you have to wait till the cream separates from the milk. So I wait till the next day, and then I skim off the cream, as much of it as I can. And then I let it sit out on the counter and warm up. 62-ish is like the magic temperature. And once it gets...
no one ever told, like, somehow this was lost in a generation. We lost this information.
Yeah, like I tried making butter from goat's cream, like when Julia had the separator.
Yeah.
I would churn it and churn it and churn it and churn it, and I'd be like 20 minutes, half an hour. Why wasn't this working? I was like...
And like sometimes it worked. Like we made goat butter. But
it took a very long time, and I couldn't understand why.
We didn't know the secret.
It's the temperature.
It's the temperature.
Yeah.
You have to get this to room temperature.
Yes. So once it's at room temperature, it will churn very quickly.
Okay.
And I cheat and I use a blender. So.
Okay. Are you gonna?
It's an off-grid. It's an off-grid blender.
Right. Okay, but there's also another thing you can do, which is make the easiest cheese in the world.
One of the easiest cheeses in the world.
Out of cream, called cream cheese, and it turns out you can make this like no problem also. So we're gonna make some cream cheese and some butter, and then we're gonna eat it.
Look at the cream. Okay, so that was off of 1.
Really? So you got just shy of a quart, or just shy of a liter out of that.
Yeah.
4 gallons.
Like I could probably...
Are you gonna get a little more?
I could probably skim more, but I mean...
But I mean, we can drink this. If you don't skim it all, then it's still drinkable. If you skim it all, it becomes skim milk.
But
Which I feel like is a trick that the industry plays on uneducated people. Like they take all the goodness out of the milk and then sell it to you.
Do you see that?
Is that the line?
Watch the cream line.
Oh, it wiggled.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like swaying. There's like a ocean swell of cream.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Because I'm not being very careful, the girls would say.
One more.
One more?
Yeah, or actually it's exact,
basically. It is exact. I'm going to do one more just because. So these two we're going to make into butter. And this one I'm going to make into cream cheese.
Let's do it. Oh, man. You can survive on this. Like, this will sustain you.
And I'm going to take some of this milk that I just skimmed, which is still pretty great milk. And I'm going to grab some more of it. Okay, I'm going to leave this cream sitting here on the counter until it gets to 62 degrees. And that's, remember, the ideal temperature for churning the butter. And then this milk and cream I'm going to heat on the stove to 72 degrees to make cream cheese.
Okay, so just heat it up.
Yeah, it's not going to take long. It's going to take a few minutes.
So I checked Granddad's book, and we were both wrong. Well, I was mostly right. But they did end up with about 12 to 13 cows at the peak, milking cows. But they started with 2. When they bought the land, it came with 2 milking cows, and they said they were able to survive without off-farm work, supporting Grandma and Granddad and his grandparents, or his parents.
Right.
So 4 of them were making a living off of 2 milk cows that they were just selling the cream from.
I imagine like that was a meager living because then they like bumped it up to 12.
Well, yeah, they grew, but the point was they were able to get by.
Right.
And no, they didn't stay at that level because eventually they had kids, and that's why I'm here. But but isn't that wild? Like 2 cows?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Anyways, we've got 1 cow, and it's still tons. Like we're making butter and cheese and drinking all the milk we can, and all the other animals get the skim milk. Like, it's amazing.
Okay, so turns out
What are you at there?
90.
You're way too hot.
Yeah, it's sat on here for like 1 minute.
Okay. Well, but it, like, because 72 is room temperature. So it only needed half a minute. I think it'll still work.
I think it's gonna be okay. We're just gonna let it cool down for a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so at the right temperature.
Okay, what are you putting in there? Mesophile type 2. Lactic ferments. Okay, people are going to have to buy this, right?
Yeah,
From
a place that sells.
like a cheese store,
Yeah.
a cheese making store.
Yes.
Tell me if you guys know how to make this stuff. I'm sure you can make it and make your own cultures and things, but right now you can buy it from a cheese store.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just putting in 1/8 of a teaspoon. Trying to not dump it all in one big clump.
Okay.
You want it to kind of sit on top. It sits there for 5 minutes to rehydrate, and then we're gonna incorporate it in.
Okay, and while we're waiting 5 minutes, I have a confession. We did something I never would have guessed. We made a gridlessness Twitter account.
Why are you confessing?
I know, because it's embarrassing.
Why?
A year ago, I would have been super embarrassed. Now that it's X, I'm less embarrassed. And I'm actually kind of excited about it because we've got these YouTube videos, but I find YouTube's hard to build like an actual community. Like we've got comments, and that's great. And we read almost all the comments. We read a lot of comments and reply when we can. But like I wanted to have something where we could actually connect. And the reason is because I've realized after doing this off-grid homestead thing for a long time that a lot of people are overwhelmed by how much there is to learn and do on a homestead. And I've realized
they all just want a community.
We need a community. Yeah. You're not supposed to do this on your own. And when I read Granddad's old book, he describes the whole community around him. He literally lists and names all his neighbors and what they did and how they helped. And that's what we got to do. We can't just be like standalone, self-sufficient in the woods. Like you can, but that is very hard. And you might just get burnt out. And it might be too difficult or too expensive. But if you can have a community of people to help each other, that's the way it can be very successful. So, we're on X. Go find us there. And it's the same logo. And it's even a... What is it? Verified?
Yeah.
We had like a little blue check. Look for the gridlessness with a little blue check. And check this out. We got new shirts. Yikes. You can go to the website and get new shirts and new hats. We're very excited because, well, they're new and shiny. And like, look at that.
See how it started to soak in?
It kind of just looks like scum on the top.
Yeah, but we're going to stir it in.
Okay.
Kind of.
Just gently. Does this matter? Do you have to use such love and care?
When you make cheese and you read a recipe for cheese making, they are very specific about how you do it.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I don't really know. I've always tried to do it that way, so I don't know what would happen if you didn't do it that way. Yeah. They're like, with an up and down motion, being very careful to not break the surface.
All the little bacterias and things in there, you don't want to be too rough with them.
No, I guess so.
They don't like aggressive behavior.
No, they don't. I'm like totally new to cheese making. I don't know a lot, but I'll show what I know. Or what I'm learning, I should say.
But you make awesome cheese all the time. So, okay, single strength calf rennet. Okay, you're going to put a drop of that?
1 drop. That's it. Ooh. There. 1 drop.
1 drop in a little teaspoon of water.
Tablespoon.
Tablespoon of water. Okay.
And then you just pour it in.
That's it. That's all the magic there is.
And then you give it a little stir.
Gently, right? With love.
Gently, being very careful.
With love. Stir it in gently, and now what?
Now you leave it with the lid on. The recipe says for 12 to 16 hours. See you tomorrow.
Okay, it's now tomorrow. We did the work yesterday, so now we can carry on with the next stage of the cheese.
Right.
And just pretend that it sat here for 12 hours, because yesterday's...
It did.
Okay. Well, this is the critical part. We said this was going to take less than 1 minute. How is it done already? You serious?
I think so. Yep.
No way. Just think, my mom used to sit on the counter churning butter for hours at a time with the wooden paddles.
I put it through the strainer because
Oh, just to...
catch the butter that...
So that is all the buttermilk.
Yes.
And it's perfectly good.
It is. It makes great pancakes.
There's the butter. It's the first look at the butter.
Yeah.
That's truly magical. What's the objective?
To get out all that extra buttermilk. If you don't, it doesn't last very long.
It's kind of like a souring agent, eh?
Yeah.
This is still room temperature, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, you add the cold water to it, though, and then it kind of...
Okay. So it's kind of solidifying it a bit?
Yeah, it is.
Butter is waterproof. That's what it looks like.
It is.
So you just do that until the water is clear.
That's right. And then you salt it.
Looks like pretty clean water.
So for 4 cups of cream, the butter that I get out of it, I've been salting it about ½ a teaspoon.
Unsalted butter.
Has a special purpose, but it's not meant for being on toast.
No. This is like that whipped butter that you get in a French restaurant. That stuff is fancy.
It is fancy.
In fact, you are going to make something very fancy right about now, aren't you?
I am.
Better than any French restaurant.
With homemade cream cheese.
Yes.
And homemade bacon. And homemade Colby cheese.
Yes. And?
Homemade bread.
And?
Homemade butter.
Homemade butter.
Okay, so...
It looks like cream cheese.
Yes. I think I want to use it for lunch.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't using it for lunch, I would let it sit a little bit longer.
Oh, you like it firmer?
Yeah. See the level of where we had the cheese before? This is interesting.
Oh.
That's all the
There's
way.
cheese juice. Way. Oh, that looks like cream cheese. So this is really a one-day cream cheese. Like you start it one day and you eat it the next day.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Like that's, and it takes you minutes.
It doesn't take very long. It's
like
so
half an hour
fast.
total
work
Prep time, right?
Yeah, it just like sits there and does its thing otherwise. It's
Yeah.
like not a big deal.
Okay, let's taste it. Okay, it tastes exactly like cream cheese, except it's like fluffy. It's like cream cheese light or something. Like fluffy light, like it's not as dense yet. But that's what you were saying. It hasn't, if you just let it settle longer, it'll get heavier, thicker. I think it'll do great on these jalapeno poppers.
I think so too. Okay, do you want
Hold on, these aren't jalapeno poppers. This is a grilled cheese jalapeno pepper with cream cheese sandwich, and it's you're gonna want to see this. Oh, and a Colby. Do it. Cut it open. How old is this one?
I made it in September, so it's
months old already.
only a couple months old. I would
Isn't
like
that
to
good?
age it longer, but
we can't wait.
we can't wait. So we're gonna eat it.
Wow, that's like a real wheel of cheese. Wow. Let's eat it.
Okay.
Okay, the thing is, like once you start to make stuff out of your own milk, or maybe your neighbor's milk, someone in your community, you can get this milk. And then you can make everything, the butter and the cheese, and some of it's very easy, like this butter and like the cream cheese. And this one's not very hard either, the Colby, but it's a little bit more. Let me try it. Am I supposed to eat the outside? I always forget.
Yeah, you can.
There's no wax on here?
No.
It's like a mild cheese, that's all I can say. But this stuff is famous because it's very melty, and it'll like... You know what? Just wait a second and look at it in the grilled cheese and you'll know what it tastes like.
Ah!
You got Butterfingers?
I got Butterfingers.
Look at that. How much is that?
These are half cuppers.
Okay.
So 2 cups.
So there's 2 cups of butter.
Yes.
And it's yellow, and you didn't dye it yellow, did you?
No.
That's really what butter looks like.
It's really what it looks like.
And we're gonna taste it in moments.
Yes.
What do you got? Lodge USA.
My favorite.
It's amazing that in this world of cheap stuff made offshore, you can still get like an American-made. We're Canadian, right? But we still like American-made stuff and Canadian-made stuff. We appreciate that. And you can buy this. You can buy Lodge cast iron at Cabela's or like a lot of other places. It's like the real thing. It's cast iron. This, like your grandkids will use it. Anyways, we're gonna use it right now. Butter, melting cheese. Wow.
Crispy bacon.
Oh, baby. I want to dispel a common misconception right now. This video is not about making butter.
It's about eating?
It's no. This is about like taking control of your life and learning some skills and you know, becoming a little bit more self-sufficient, even just like a little bit. That's what it's about.
Yes.
And it's about finding your community, which I think now is, I'm confident, is very important. Find a community of people that can work together with similar goals and can help each other out. Find us on X. Come find us on there. We're just trying to figure it out, but I think we can start a community there where we can actually dialogue and learn from each other. And remember to go get this awesome hat that Rose got. She picked out her favorite hats and shirts.
Which you can't see.
It's under the apron. And yeah, go find them on the website. It's gridlessness.com. But before you go, just you're gonna want to see this sandwich.
You ready?
I'm so ready.
Are you? Look at how the cheese is melty.
I know,
even.
it's all crispy.
Oh.
Oh man.
Wow. It's so cheesy.
so hot and bacony and cheesy and buttery. This is incredible.
Yum.
You guys can do this. You can make your own food. You can make your own butter. Wow. Kind of an intimate moment to be sharing. It's just fabulous. Like, Rose has been learning to make this stuff mostly this year.
I'm no expert. I'm just learning.
And it's amazing. So all you're learning is amazing. Okay, if you like off-grid homesteading and self-sufficiency and making your own food, you might like some of these other videos because that's what we do.